I want to tell you this story about my brother and I, Shane. This is a great story, but it's actually going to have a lesson into it. Of course, you're gonna get something out of it. But I want you to understand, my brother Shane, he's like 3 years younger than me. I'm 56, he's 50, he's 53. But listen, we've been pretty much best friends our whole life. We've obviously had brother moments, but this piece of Tom's Donuts that's coming back together since 2018-19 has been a really eventful process for our relationship. We become partners in basically a new business that he's been involved with for much longer than me, for probably 30 years. He's really, truly an amazing man. But this story is about our personalities and why I think things are really working now, not only from our business perspective, but I think even more importantly in our relationship side. He's different than me. He's wired different than me. I'm wired differently than him. And so when I came back and we started to rebrand it and rename it and the Tom's Donuts Original versus Tom's Donuts, this business model had almost foundered. But for some reason, I felt the emotional side of it, right? My father had built this over 50 years and Shane had been involved and he's just done a certain amazing things, but it just didn't have the legs anymore. But so I've literally brought the vision and breathed life back into the brand. But here's the thing, it would never work without Shane. It just can't. And I knew that. I believe that we could leverage his gifts. Shane's money, man. He's never missed a day in 30 years of making donuts. Now, they've had some breakdowns as far as the way it looked and the way things were going because of the chemistry of whatever the nature of everything was at that point. But here's the deal. When I bought it and rebranded it, obviously, I kept my brother and we put things together. And here's the story I want you to understand in a microcosm of the way his mind works and the way my mind works. My mind is about how to see things and how to create it and how to put it in the right places. But without a Shane, it doesn't happen on a consistent basis. So he picked me up one snowy morning. I was in Angola and I needed to get back home to Florida because I wanted to be here on this beautiful day here. Even in an overcast, it's great. But he picked me up, but he was 15 minutes late. Man, I was upset, but I never really showed him that. But I didn't want to miss the flight. I was going to see my baby, my fourth grandson, my fourth grandchild, my baby, Jake, and I missed my wife. I was speaking in Indianapolis for 4 days, and then we'd put this big remodel together in Tom's Donuts downtown Angola. But he picked me up. It was a little late because of the snowstorm. We didn't calculate for it, but he got me, and then we took off the Fort Wayne. We drove the best we could, but we got on I-69, and there was only maybe 3 cars the whole time there. They didn't cancel the flights, but there was nobody driving. And as we were driving down I-69 on our way to Fort Wayne, Indiana, we were having a good conversation, but I could tell my bro was white-knuckling it, right? And I was drinking my coffee, acting real cool about everything. And sure enough, we're almost there. We're going to make the flight, but at the last minute, something happened like black ice. And it was kind of scary. Sure enough, my brother ends up spitting out in this black ice. And I got my coffee like this. And as we're spinning around doing a 360 on I-69 heading south, we carrying into the guardrail and bounce off the guardrail and everything shuts down. My coffee flies up, hits me a little bit. And as we're careening and gliding and doing the 360, I say to my bro, it's gonna be okay. And then we hit the guardrail and the coffee flies. But here's where the story begins. Here's where the lesson begins. And here's where probably the story starts to end, is that when we're sitting against the careen guardrail and the car is stopped, right? And the vision maker spills his coffee, right? And the operational guy has guided us ever so eloquently sideways into the guardrail a lot. I'm on my phone looking for the next flight right away, trying to figure out exactly how we can make something out of this with this trip. The vision of how we could still save it all, right? My brother never thought of that 1 second because he is the man. He is the go-to guy, right? He is the endurance. He's the plotter. He's the guy that never misses, right? And as I'm thinking about how to rearrange the trip and how to make it work in my brain, and everything's going in warp speed, he's trying to figure out how to make the car finish the trip. He's trying to figure out how to get us operational. see? I'm thinking about how to extend the trip, how to make the next flight. I'm trying to think about how to get through the vision and how to make it better from what we got. But his mind never left operations. He went through the check. He turned it off. He turned it on. And all of a sudden, as he cranked it back on, got the thing going, I'm thinking about this and where I'm going to go. And all of a sudden, I hear in my bro's beautiful brain, we're operational. And we took off, did another 360 almost in the middle of I-69 because there was no cars. And he drove us on a limping, wrecked rear quarter panel all the way to the airport, and he got me there in perfect stride. They called my name, I walked on the plane, sat down, and never missed a lick. I had the vision, and he had the operation. So I want you to understand, who do you got in your life? You got a bro like Shane? Who's complimenting you in your partnership? Right? Who's got your back and says, we're operational? Well, I got my bro. So thank you, Shane. I love you. You got me operational. I got the vision, man. Let's do this thing, man. Tom's Donuts. Let's do whatever we're going to do. But I want you to think about it, you and your life. Who's got you operational? And do you have the vision? Or is it vice versa? Have a great day. Wow, differently.